This is my shop, and in my shop, every tool has a dedicated spot. All my materials are labeled and organized so I know exactly where they are. And every great woodworker knows that the key to success is keeping hand tools nice and sharp, so I keep mine hung up and away from danger. Even my clamps are all organized. So that's my shop. If yours doesn't look as good as mine, you're just not taking it serious enough. All right, seriously though, let's try to fix some of this shit. And if you've watched any of my videos from the past 3 years, you'd know that I'm gonna be trying to use a 3D printer to fix this stuff. So let's get started. Oh man, forgot to do the cool. Remember the clamp wall I'm so proud of? Well, I might have left a few out. Okay, actually many years ago, I tried coming up with a solution to mount these when I first put the wall together. Yeah, let's not talk about it. But the other day I was actually looking through 3D designs on printables trying to find a mount for these clamps, and I think I actually found one.
Why so small?
It's actually another demonstration of sometimes you'll find a print online, but it's not exactly what you need. So it's always nice to be able to design your own. So that's what I did. Using the model we found online as inspiration, I went ahead and designed my own. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit beefier. I printed it in a flat orientation, so that makes sure the layer lines run the length of the print, helping prevent it from having a weak point and snapping in half when gravity and the clamps do their job. Just uses 2 holes, so it's super easy to mount. And with this design, I was able to print just 2 to accommodate all the bandy clamps that I own. Now my bandy clamps can finally join the rest of my clamp family. Moving on. So you've seen that I actually do a decent job of taking care of my hand tools, like my chisels and my Western saws. But what I've done a terrible job of taking care of and actually use a lot are my Japanese saws. I have a lot of them, but I really only reach for 3 of them all the time. The first saw we need to address would be the Ryoba. This saw is great for just general purpose woodworking like rip cuts and cross cuts. The next saw is the Dozuki. This saw has a strong back. It's great for doing joinery, and I like to use it for really small, like if I'm really trying to sneak up on a cut. I'll use this even for like cross cuts if I'm really trying to be precise. And the last one is the Hishika. The Hishika is really good for flush trims. Now, as you can imagine, my 3D printers were swamped during the making of this video. I had all of them working round the clock. So to try to get this video done in a relatively fast amount of time, I reached out to my good friends at PCBWay. They made it super easy. All I had to do is download the files from printables, upload them to PCBWay, select the materials I wanted. I chose PETG for the saw holders and TPU for the rollers, and then checked out. In less than a week, I had the parts at my shop, and I was blown away with the quality of these prints. Everything is dimensionally accurate and feels solid. And they wanted me to make sure you guys knew that from November 28th to December 28th, they'll be dropping a bunch of exclusive discounts via coupon. And if you're in the market for custom PCBs, there'll be no extra charges for matte black, pink, or purple. And for all the people that are interested in 3D printing discounts, well, they got you covered. Any 3D prints printed out of UTR 8100, which is their fully transparent resin, or Somos Ledo, which is their tough waterproof resin, will have a 10% discount applied. So if you're in the market for high quality CNC or 3D printed part, or need a custom PCB at an affordable price, consider PCBWay for your next project. With that, let's get back to the video. So I got the saws mounted. I'm really happy with the end result. I know it looks kind of funny having a piece of wood attached to another piece of wood. And the reason that happened is because originally I thought I was gonna mount this to my cleat wall. So I took that piece of wood, attached all the 3D prints to it, and then had intended on attaching a cleat to the back. But while I was going through that process, I realized that having these saws on the other side of my shop just didn't make a lot of sense. After all, like, this is where I use them mostly, at the end of my workbench with my vise. So having them here makes it really nice to just pull one off, get my cut done, and then turn back around and put it there. So I think this is going to be really nice having this here. Overall, the 3D print is a great 3D print. Anybody that needs to mount saws like this, and I think it actually works with Western saws too. Hold on. All right, so for demonstration purposes, I'll put these back when I'm done, but just in case you have a Western saw, Western style saw, here's a Lynx brand. Yeah, works pretty good. Yeah. I mean, gravity is what really does it. And having those printed out of, those rollers out of TPU really helps too. Just because I have it, let's try a Veritas dovetail saw. Very nice. So pretty much any thin kerf saw it'll work with. And yeah. Much better than having them just thrown in the back somewhere. All right, let's take care of the biggest issue in the shop, and that's these Denali tools. They've actually been scattered on the workbench like this for probably maybe 2 years. Now, most of the time, you can go on a website like Printables or MakerWorld. There's a ton of files for drills and drivers and circular saws, all those to like mount them to the wall, mount them to a wall control unit, maybe a French cleat, but I did not find any Denali ones. I did actually try printing out, I think it was for DeWalt, and it worked, but it wasn't perfect. Well, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my own models to 3D print for this, and I'm gonna do a real quick overview on how I do that kind of stuff. And let's start with something simple like this drill. We just need a drill, some kind of measurement thing. I like to use like a cutting mat like that because it's got the grid, and just your phone. Make sure I'm using the telephoto lens. You want to try to take a picture, something close to like natural sight, something like 35mm to 50mm, something in there. If you have a Samsung phone like this, it's usually their telephoto lens. If you go with one of their wides or ultra wides, those will skew the picture too much, in my opinion. I also like to take the pictures in a 1:1 ratio. Don't take them in the 16:9, it'll just make it harder for you later. And then you'll just take the drill, lay it out on the mat. It really doesn't matter, like you don't need to see the numbers when you have a grid like this, because every grid is 1:1. Try to make sure that you get whatever you're taking a picture of as like flat as possible. That also goes for when we take the picture. We want to try to hold our camera as flat as possible, snap a picture. And something just like this is what we're looking for. Something like that. That'll work. Now we go into Fusion and do some magic. Bloop, 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 bloop. So we're here in my studio. Full disclosure, I've already modeled this, but just for the sake of the content, I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. And then you guys can kind of see the process. It's not a tutorial. I'm not doing a how-to, so it's going to be just a quick time lapse of it. If you want to see a tutorial on how to do this stuff, there's plenty of good videos out there on the internet. I'll maybe try to find some. Who am I kidding? I probably won't, because I only care about my video. If you want me to make a tutorial video, let me know. I'll try to work it in. Maybe in like 2 years you'll have one. Anyways, let's model this up real quick. Should be fast. I've already done it once, and it only took me like 5 or 10 minutes, so.
That's what she said.
You get better, trust me.
That's what she said.
Oh, no, not that. Just come on, you guys, let's do it.
About 45 minutes later, our part should be ready. Let's see what we got. Oh. Aha! There we go. That's the drill down. Let's keep working on them. So I've gotten all the Denali tools laid out with their respective 3D prints. And right now I'm just trying to figure out what the best layout's gonna be to try to make it look good. That probably shouldn't be #1 on my list, but it's a woodworking YouTube shop. So needs to look good, needs to be practical. Ideally, it wouldn't take up that much room. I really don't feel like screwing in every one of them into the actual wall. You think I should just screw it straight to the wall? I'm kind of thinking I just screwed straight to the wall. So I decided I am going to mount it directly to the wall. I actually moved locations in the shop where I'm going to put it, and to make sure that I didn't mess up, or at least to kind of guide me. The spot that I'm going to be putting it on the wall, I have a limited amount of space, so I kind of just used this piece of acrylic I had lying around as my safety wall, safety net, safety boundary. There we go. Safety boundary. I'm pretty happy with that, I think. That'll put the tools on the opposite side of my shop from the DeWalt tools. Take your pick on depending on where I'm working. Let's start mounting these and hopefully we don't totally mess up. Okay, here we go. See if we messed up on the very first one. Keep going. All right, well, that's not right. First issue. So this is supposed to slot down to actually catch the saw. I think the problem is that this just isn't long enough, I guess. Oh, actually, maybe I just made this too deep. Shoot. Ah, man, not ideal, but okay. We're calling an audible and I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna throw another screw in. I'm lazy, I'm lazy. It might look a little funky, but welcome to Funky Town, AKA my shop. Boom. Well, if there's an earthquake, it might come down, but keep on moving. First casualty, I went hard and cracked it. Yeah, not ideal. We'll have to reprint that one. Shoot. And with that, after about 2 years, the Denali tools finally have their own place in the shop and they're not on my workbench anymore. I'm pretty happy with the simplistic designs. There was a failed print and I did have to call an audible on the circular saw print, but all in all, they all worked out pretty well. I lucked out that the driver and drill both use the same mount style, and I was able to just tweak that a little bit for the reciprocating saw. All of these are mounted so that a battery can be installed on the tool and not bump into any other ones. It was also really important that whatever design I came up with, the tool would easily come off the wall and be placed back on. And I think I nailed that. Like grabbing the drill, you know, right off, and obviously those are easy. The more complicated ones I think would have been like the random orbit sander, which I'm pretty happy with that. Bonus points, it's actually like a smiley little mount. So when I'm sanding, maybe that'll make me a little happy. Probably not, but anyways, like, you know, very simple, very simple. The grinder, the angle grinder was another one that I thought would be a little bit challenging. I ended up doing a hexagon shape. Not really sure why, I just thought it might be better than a circle.
Nobody's better than me!
But yeah, pretty happy. All in all, they finally have a place in the shop. So that's good. Less clutter on our workbench. Let's keep moving. Another thing I'd like to address in this video are these saw blades. They're a pain in the ass to get off when I need them, and it's not great to have the carbide just banging into each other. So let's see if we can do something about that. If I'm being honest, I already developed a solution for this a long time ago.
So you were just lying?
But I never shared it with any of you. Kind of changed it up a little bit. So the original design was based off of my Glue Daddy Caddy. So I made the, by Cleat Daddy, the Blade Buddy. So It had a cleat system. You could just stack the blades on there like this. Boom. And it actually works pretty good. It holds the blades and everything. What I didn't like about this design is one, it was one solid piece. That made it kind of difficult to print. Also, this was printed out of PLA because that's what I was printing back then. And I still print a lot of PLA, don't get me wrong. It's a great filament. This just wasn't it. So then I started designing a whole new thing that I haven't shared with anybody, but this was the second version. It was actually built off of a modular system that I designed. So these all, you just print these and then they can hold a bunch of different things. Not gonna talk about that in this video. I may talk about it eventually, but basically you print two of these, your left and your right, print this piece out, and then these just pop in. I'm actually pretty proud of it, but since I've had that done for a while, and I was making a video telling you all about what I'm doing, I decided I'd make another version. Now, this is very much the same as this one, except the end pieces are actually printed in carbon fiber reinforced ASA. Very durable. I really like the flat finish that you get with them. All of this was printed with a 0.8 millimeter nozzle. If you're not printing with a 0.8 millimeter nozzle yet, you're doing things wrong. That's a whole nother video. That is the new and improved design. Now, the only thing I don't really like about it is it kind of takes up a lot of space for just 3 blades. There's always room for redesign and, you know, making a design better. Let me know what y'all think. If this is something you're interested in, I can start getting the files set up to be shared. I may even start a Patreon where if you're a Patreon, you get all the files for free. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Blades, done. Now, trying to fix my consumables and material storage is a whole video by itself, but one thing I thought that I could try to address in this video was my tape. It's something I use all the time and I always find myself rummaging around trying to find the right tape and whether I even have any left. So to fix this, I found a file on printables. I will say there are a lot of parts. Assembly is required with this one. So let's put this together. So each one of these consists of a right and left side, a back support, a center support, a spindle, and 2 little pins to put in the spindle, and a front support with a blade inside. So let's talk about this print. Really easy to put together. All you need is some super glue and a old blade of some sort. I used an old jigsaw blade. Be careful, they are sharp. The things I don't like about this though, some of them are self-inflicted. It took a long time to print all these. That being said, what I didn't realize when downloading the files, they actually have a interface piece. So if you're gonna have multiples like I do, you'd actually only have to, like, instead of printing these 2, I could have just printed 1 piece, and also I could have printed just 1 piece here, and then they all kind of stack together. That's good and bad because for me, really what I wanted was, I want one to stay over at my CNC. I'd like for the other 2 to be mounted like right behind me somewhere here that I can get to them when I'm working at my bench. If you just, you know, grab the tape and it was hitting here, it would just drag. But thankfully, I still have both my hands, so I can easily grab it, pull the tape, and it works pretty good. Another thing that I'm not, this is totally me, it's totally my fault. I know it is because there are things talking about ways to make sure the blades work right. So for me, like, this is masking tape and it still just doesn't cut great. For what I do in here, it doesn't matter, that this piece of tape will work great. When it comes to like the double-sided tape though, it helps get it started sort of. So I guess that's something. It's probably better than trying to, anyways, it's a good 3D print. I recommend it. And now I can easily see how much tape I have left, and I'll have like an actual place where the tape lives, so I know where it is. So still, problem fixed. One other thing about this print, it's a really good print. The way that you just remove the tape, center spindle comes out. It's a really good fit. I haven't found a roll that it doesn't work with, so that's really cool. Also, like, check this out. You put that in there, this thing, it spins. It's really nice. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't just bash this. I wanted to talk about, it is really nice. I love that it's in multiple pieces. Any printer can print this. It's very good. Okay, so that's my shop. A little bit better than before. Still a lot of work. This light is flickering. Still a lot of work to, I can't do it. Can't do it. So, come on. Still a lot of work to do. Bye. Come on. It's the second one.